All right. So just everybody is only just a few minutes. You're right on time now. So
Really. I did anticipate how long it was gonna take to get here from Sand County, a little bit longer than I thought. Thought I'd be going, the opposite of the rest of the traffic. But apparently not.
How's it going?
Good.
You here for the investing class?
Yes, sir.
Nice. What's your name?
Brian.
Brian, I'm Sam. How'd you find out about it?
See Jared.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Where you live?
Then I talked to Brett.
Oh, okay. Right, Yarborough?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Nice. Awesome. Well, welcome, man. We're gonna get started here in just a few minutes. Got some cookies and waters. The rest of the right there.
Yeah, I saw him as I came in from the front. He didn't really tell me where to come to the building. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get started in just a few minutes.
I'll do that on raising. I'll do it on raising.
You can have it rating one. Nobody wants those rating ones.
I'll get that on raising.
There you go. Almost.
Yeah.
So I put cookies in a salad because I'm eating less.
Whatever floats your boat.
Mhm. Brittany, are you on Zoom?
Yeah, dude, sorry, Jeff's got a deadline. He's still working, so I'm stuck with kids.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure the Zoom was working and you could hear me.
I can, and it looks great. I can see the whiteboard and everything. Looks good.
Okay, cool.
Thanks. All right, I'm gonna mute myself.
We're gonna get started in a few minutes.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, cool. Thanks, Sam.
Children are upstairs. You hear them on the noise? That's where they're at.
There are windows up there?
Hmm?
Is there windows?
No. Like a dungeon. This look is.
But I was just down there.
Really not.
Are you gonna sit in?
Yeah. Everyone's kidding. What's the little guy? Don't trust him.
This one is little. Problem. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, like, I can.
But everybody's making a big deal of it, I'm like. They can't win all the time.
Right, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's like,
as
and
long
what
as
the.
4 games in the last, what, 4 years?
Yeah, and what's nice, they get all of the players, and I just, you start bad enough. They're gonna go out there and lose, they go out there and try and work hard and, but, God. It's so negative on the
Yeah.
players, that's what I go back for.
Oh, and there's that, they say we need to be bad. I'm like, what? It's all 4 games in 4 years. I mean, come on.
You'd have to, I'm sure his old buyout contract is fairly hefty, so I don't
No.
think it's going anywhere.
Jimbo Fisher's,
Oh,
I think like $80 million
oh,
to buy him out.
Like even if he's doing that,
Yes,
when he can suck it up and still.
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
I was gonna do the Zoom last week, Sam, but I don't know if you could see me, so that's why I didn't. So I was gonna put it in my ear and it's like, I don't think you can see me, so I'm not logging in.
There's a little button down there and it says video off, and then we can't see you.
Oh,
And honestly, we can't really see because it's on like this computer, so I can't really see. anything.
okay. I couldn't remember, I was like.
Yeah, you were totally good. I missed out on a good one too. Maybe I'll get started.
Save it, just have owned the entire state of Alabama.
roll tide.
Yeah.
I was telling Nikki today, I said the reason they've probably been losing is because I didn't put my wreath up on my door, because it's like,
Superstitions?
I haven't unpacked anything, so.
That's what it is.
That's so.
If I didn't put the wreath.
Alabama's getting an ass kicked for the free. Yeah.
It's all your fault, Jim.
My brother would think it's on my phone, or he might have.
You know, what I tell my friends in Alabama right now, Coleman.
They're just waiting to start with me.
You know what, it's like here, they put a wreath out. Why?
Problem was.
You have my Alabama pillows on my porch, I have all of that.
What is your fault? Sounds pretty bad.
I'm sure of it.
So I think the name and likeness deals kind of help even the playing field.
The what?
The name and likeness where the players can be paid, so. You got some areas that are just paying players. God awful amounts of money.
Hmm.
I like with the booster program, now it's legal.
Yeah.
Hey, come talk about my car dealership, here's a car. Then we're gonna give you 250 grand.
Okay, last week was the find, right? Did anybody do any of this homework? No.
I yelled at him all week long. I sat down and I was like, let me see. I was like, I don't understand.
You were here this.
I didn't know this was a 2-week class.
Right?
It's
So
the
all we-
week class.
Okay, so let's, for Neil and Nikki, I'm gonna put you on the spot, because you guys were the only ones here.
I wasn't here.
Well, you should have been here. So like, why would you need to know the after repair value of a property?
What?
After repair value, like after you flip it,
So
Or
you would
fix
know
up.
what you could possibly make out of it.
alright? If you're gonna flip it, meaning you're gonna buy it all jacked up, you're gonna fix it up and then sell it, why do you need to know the long-term rental rate? Cause that's not your plan, is to hold on to it.
Right.
You wanna just sell it right away, but why is it important to know your long-term rental rate?
Because you can't sell it.
Cause you can't sell it, right?
In case you can't sell it, you gotta
Right.
make sure that rent. is covered.
Get over here, leave that alone.
Brittany, Brittany,
Somebody else up there.
Someone deal with your kids.
I have a buddy named Josh that might be coming.
So is it three?
That's gotta be him. Josh,
What's up?
hey, can you mute your microphone?
Yeah,
We're learning all about your third grade homework right now.
it's great.
You love homework.
That in soccer practice is awesome.
Okay. Okay, yes, so you always like, so if there's one thing that I can hammer home to everybody about investing, whether it's flipping, whether it's buying and holding it. It is to like mitigate the risk. Okay, and how you do that is you always plan for like worst case scenario, you hope for best case scenario, right? If you always plan for worst case scenario, like in your spreadsheet, if the dude is gonna charge you $2,000 to paint the inside of your house, you want to budget like $2,500 to paint the inside of your house, okay? Like you always overshoot. Expect the worst, hope for the best, and you'll totally be fine. Okay, so today, I want to go over like all the financing stuff. The ones, there's probably hundreds out there. There's so many out there, there's so many different options, but I picked like, I think there's 5 or 6 in here that we're gonna go over. And I want to highlight like the pros and cons to each of them. And there's a few in here that are like out of the ordinary, like a seller carryback. Has anybody ever done like a seller carryback? No, so we're gonna explain all that, but I think doing a seller carryback could be highly beneficial. To getting some deals done really, really cheap. Okay, so the first one, since nobody did their homework, we're gonna skip on this, totally fine. Job, Neil, thanks for.
Okay.
Okay, so these are, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, there's 7 different like financing options that I have either used in the past or I know people that have used in the past. These are the most popular ones. And I'm gonna go through like each one, tell you the pros and the cons, kind of highlight what I would do, what I wouldn't do on how to finance a deal. Okay. So traditional finances, which is like an FHA or conventional loan, that's the most popular on what I call like a normal house. Like you guys probably have a conventional loan right on your house. Took you 30 days to close it or so. You have a 30-year note, probably a lower interest rate, you're gonna pay it off over 30 years. Well, like the pros is yes, you normally have like a lower interest rate because it is a 30-year fixed loan. And you can spread that over 30 years, so obviously that lowers your payment down a little bit. Sometimes these houses that are in poor shape can't qualify for FHA loans, right? Like there's certain things about it, like the water in the kitchen has to be working, can't be leaking, it has to have hot water. You have to have one bathtub.
FHA on investment property.
Like, so in some cases you can, because you can like move into it, use it as
For
your
a year.
primary, fix it up, yeah, sell it. So you're not supposed to, if you're gonna sell it within the first year, but
Yeah.
make them prove it, okay, like, make them prove it. So, and then conventional, yeah, you gotta put anywhere from 3 up to 20% down. Most lenders right now on an investment property, they're gonna want 20-25% down. Okay, so that takes a lot of your cash to put down. Remember what I said last time is, as an investor, you don't necessarily want to use all your cash. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. So like conditions are big. The closing times, like on a conventional loan, takes roughly 30 days. So I think I used the example last time with Brittany, where if she, a guy from Buy Box gives you a deal and there's a $200,000 spread, there's an opportunity to make $200,000. He's pitching it to you, and then he's pitching it to everybody else he knows because this is a good split. So do you think if he gets you that can close in 30 days or a buddy that can close in 10 days because he's got cash, what offer is he gonna pick? The 10 days, right? So that's a huge con to trying to get deals fast, right? Now, once we pick a different option, this is the route to go when you refinance and pull your cash out. But to get the first deal, this is not, I don't suggest this way of getting it. So it takes your personal qualifications or your credit score, your W-2s or proof of income or whatever, right? And then you can only have 10 of these homes or 10 of these loans in your name at one time. So once you get to 10 and you want to buy another one, they won't let you do it. You won't qualify for that. Lee, if I'm misspeaking about anything, you step up.
I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut about certain things.
Well, if I'm not speaking right, because I am not a lender, so I have to have a disclaimer out.
Well, I'm not a lender either.
Yeah, but you know more about that crap. But so this is strictly my opinion, what I've done in the past, my experience and what I know about it. I am not a lender. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional at that. So
I can agree with you. Most investors are getting hard money loans so they can close quick. So
100%. But anyway, this is what I know about it. So if you want to, I will point you in the direction of the people that you need to know, but I can highlight it good enough for you. So because it's Fannie and Freddie backed, they will only let you have 10 houses. There's another loan in here where it'll let you have more. So that's why I want to kind of go into this. Does anybody have any questions about like financial, like condition or like more traditional financing? Anybody on Zoom, if you guys have anything, just leave a comment or just jump on and yell out your name here. Okay. So this one right here probably has to be like one of the most popular ones, right? Everybody's heard of hard money. So hard money, like they can close it within like 10 to 14 days normally. If a hard money guy takes longer than that, you pick a different hard money guy. I've had hard money guys, like after you create a relationship with these people, they'll turn you in like 3 days, right? Because you've already have the application, maybe you've already done 10 houses with them, like they know you're good for the money. They'll give you the money, they'll cut you a check right away. And you're based on like the property value and the ARV. So if you go to a hard money guy and say, hey, I need to buy a house at $200,000. I need to put $50,000 into it. So we're 250 deep, but I think the ARV value is 350, right? So that gives us a plus of 100 grand. That guy's just not gonna take your word for it, right? Because that's his money. He's trying to protect it. He's gonna make sure that you're gonna pay it back. He's gonna make sure that it's a good deal or not. So he's gonna run his comps too. So he's gonna find the house, see what it looks like, estimate what it takes to put into it. And then he's gonna check his own ARV and make sure that you're right or not. If you're within the range, yeah, he's gonna give it to you. And if you're not, he's not gonna give it to you. He's gonna tell you like, man, no, this house is upside down. You ain't gonna make it. Your interest rate's wrong, or you're estimating this wrong or something. You're not gonna get it.
What's ARV?
After repair value.
Oh.
So after you fix it up, what's the house worth?
And what do you think typically a hard money lender is based on an ARV value of 350? What are they gonna want to loan you based on that?
So most of them. Okay, so some will do up to 10 to 20% down. But then they will finance 100% of the remodel cost. So meaning on this house, it's $200,000. So if it's your first loan with this guy, chances are he's gonna want 20% down. So he's gonna want $40,000. Sorry. $40,000 down here. But then he is going to then in turn give you, obviously now it's 160 plus 100% of this 50. So he's gonna give you $210,000 cash. To where you can buy the house and he will pay for all the remodel costs up front. Now this comes with this bad boy right here. Comes with a much higher interest rate. So normally right now we're looking at interest rates like 12, 13, 14%. And how they do that, you normally only have to make payments on the interest only. Well, let's do some crazy math here. Well, we'll make it easy. let's say, so how they figure out the interest rate and the interest payments every day. So if you have a 12% interest rate with this guy, you're gonna take that and you're gonna divide it by 12 months. So each month you're paying 1% interest and interest only. So on like a 300 or like on this loan here where he's loaning us $210,000. You're probably looking at,
2,100.
yeah, 2,100 a month, divide that by 30, so like $70 a day. So 2,100 a month. Divide that by 30. And that's how you get, what is that, 70? You're paying $70 a day to hold that money. But what's cool about it is he's not asking for, like, he's not amortizing 210,000 over 30 years. Right, because that payment would be like $1,000 itself. Plus the interest on it of $70 a day, so your payment would be like $3,100 if he was gonna amortize this. But what's cool is you're only paying interest on that money. Okay, now. Do they care if it's a holiday? Do they care if it's a weekend?
No.
Do they care if you called in sick? Do they care if you were tired and didn't want to work? Nope. Do they care if the house is done and it's just sitting on the market and you can't find a buyer right now? No, they don't give a shit. As long as you have that money out, they're charging you that $70 a day from the day you take it out to the day you pay it back. Okay,
Plus closeout fees.
yeah, and there's fees to like buy it, close it out, refinance it, all that stuff. Okay, so you qualify on the property, again, like if it makes sense, they'll loan you the money. So as you put down, so I highly suggest, like, if you find a hard money guy that has like good terms, he's easy to work with, responds really good, even though it makes you put 20% down those first ones, kind of stay with him because like you can develop that relationship to where hopefully after you take down like 5 or so, he'll start lowering that down payment for you. So then he'll only require like 15%. Which is less money out of your pocket, then eventually he'll require like 10%. I don't know many people that will loan less than 10% down. But it's super cool because that takes less cash, okay? Cash is king, that's very important, take less cash. Yeah, we're talking about those cons, higher interest rates, shorter term, so most hard money guys will only loan you up to like 6 months. So 180 days, some will stretch it out to like 9 months, but it better be like a big project. You're doing something small, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, they're gonna want their money back in 6 months. Do you have a question, Russ? Oh. I said something. So they're gonna want the money back in 6 months, but that's cool, because that helps you motivate to get the house done and get the money back, right? This dollar right here comes out of your financing cost. This comes out of your pocket every single month. You don't want to cut corners, but you want to be efficient. You want to make sure that all your trades are in there like back to back to back to back. And if you can get some trades, like if a roofer and a painter can work at the same time, it's a bonus, right? You get things done twice as fast because this is eating away your profit. This is eating away your profit. Like a market shift risk, like we've only, so like 2007, 2008, right? Market crashed and we're kind of seeing the same shit as far as July 4th of July weekend is when we really started to see not a crash, but we're definitely heading in that direction. The guy still wants that money. You're still paying for it. And if you're upside down on it, you might have to come out of pocket to pay for that. Right, so like if you said that you could sell this house for 350, but the market has really slowed down and now you only get 300 for it. You might just take your luck, refinance it, long-term rent it out. Because if you go to sell it, you're gonna have to come out of pocket 50 grand to pay that difference. Okay, you still took that loan out at 350. Right, so you gotta pay that 350 back, even though your house is not worth 350. Again, like you can only have so many of these out, like these hard money guys will only lend you so many loans out at one time, especially if like you're brand new. They're probably only gonna say, hey, let's start on this one and let's develop a relationship. Then maybe I'll loan you out on 2 houses. And if you're a killer, then we'll start increasing your loan amounts.
How do you find those people?
So, I mean, you can like Google them, I can give you a list, I think we've used like 2 or 3 different people. But honestly, like you can Google them, there's quite a few.
Capitals, what is it, something capital? There's a couple big ones, but there's also, a really good one that I gave to Heather, Arizona Mortgage in Scottsdale, they have a lot of integrity.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that you can find. I kind of like this, like almost like the smaller ones where you like talk to the decision makers, because then like you can almost negotiate with them on the phone too. Like if a guy's like, oh man, I don't see this one, or dude, I need 20% down on this one, like, come on, man, this is like the 4th one I've done with you, like, let's do 15. Right, let's do 15 and we get, okay, let's do 15, and that's fine. If you go to one of big, huge institutional ones, then you're gonna have to go through all those hoops and stuff. So sometimes you can find like a smaller guy, even if, I don't know like credit unions do like hard money, I don't know. But sometimes like getting a loan from a credit union is super
I think
cool.
they I don't think they do hard money, I think they
Yeah.
do conventional financing, and I think it's easier if you already have a relationship with them.
100%. So sometimes like the smaller town credit unions are a good place to go to finance. Sometimes they can give you a better rate too, because they want to use your money to reinvest. So a small town credit union might be the way to go. Does anybody have any questions on hard money? Like if I had to say, like, if you were gonna start and this is gonna be your first takedown investment property, highly recommend doing it with hard money. Even if you had like a rich uncle who can pay cash, we're gonna talk about this here in a second. Okay, nobody has any questions? So private money, this is like you have a rich uncle, you have a rich buddy. You have somebody that has money, but doesn't want to do like the work, but you want to do the work and you don't have the money, right? So you found the yin to your yang kind of thing. So this is private money and there's so many different options. I could run through like a few of them with you. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but just know that there are like hundreds of different options inside private money that you can negotiate, okay? What's cool about it, like I said, you can negotiate. You can offer like profit share with the guy who has the money. You can offer like ownership in the money. You can negotiate the guy like no monthly payments, right? Like if a guy is rich enough and he's like, hey man, you only need 300 grand. Yeah, dude, I'll give you 300 grand. Just let me have 20% of the profit when you're done with it. Okay, well, I don't need to do a monthly payment. No. So what's cool about that? Like you don't have to freak out because you're not paying $70 a day, right? But what happens if you loaned on like a $400,000 or $500,000 house, right? That's not 70 bucks now, that's like 150 bucks a day. So the more you take out, the more interest you have to pay, the faster you're gonna want to get that done, because the faster it's eating into your profit. So private money, if you could find somebody, doesn't have to be a guy, but if you find somebody who has that money, you can negotiate the terms like, hey, let me borrow this. I'll give you a kickback at the end. Don't make me put any money down and don't make me make a payment. And I'll get you on the back end, right? You can do that. Quick close, because normally it's cash, right? So your title company should be able to close it in like 10 or 12 days or so. Like you should be able to close that pretty quick if it's a cash deal. Qualifying based on personal relationship. So does your buddy even know how to run your credit? Like, does he even know how to check your background? No, right? Like this is going to be based on relationship. So he's investing in you. He's not necessarily investing in a house. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that want to invest in you rather than what you're going to make. They're going to invest in you because they know you're going to make them some money. So they're not going to pull your credit. It's not going to go against like your credit report. It's not going to go against your debt to income ratio. So like if you went to go buy a car, they're not going to know that your buddy just loaned you $300,000. Like you're still going to look like you made good money. Yeah, they'll finance the remodel cost most of the time, doesn't show up on your credit. So the cons, like this could be harder to find, right? Because how many people are in your phone book that have like hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're willing to just throw at you and risk? You probably have a few, but not everybody, right? So it might be a little harder to find. You could potentially make less profit. Why would you potentially make less profit?
Because you're giving them 20% at the end and you would have paid less in the interest.
100%. So it just depends on the terms that you're going to negotiate with them. was big right here. So. Your buddy loans you $300,000, he's taking a pretty big risk on you. What really saves a relationship is an agreement. And a written agreement, and like a formal written agreement, legit, where you talk about the good, you talk about bad, and you talk about the really bad, the ugly. Okay, like. We have agreements that like, hey, yeah. We're gonna split the profits. I project the profits to be this. You're gonna get 20%, I'm gonna get 80 or blah, blah, blah. But in the event that the market does tank, or we lose the money or whatever, you're at risk to lose all your $300,000. Like it's written down in there, right? Like an exit strategy to where if he loses the money, he knows what he's getting into. So that way, if you do lose the money, like, hey man, like I told you about it. Right? Or, hey, I thought you said we were gonna split it 50-50. No, man, in the agreement, we talked about you're getting 20% or whatever percent you write down. That's why it's very, very important that it's written down. What?
Is 20 the average, what they take?
No,
It's negotiable.
100%. I just strictly use that as an example. Most of the time, like when you're negotiating this, like you take like who has the most value in it. And sometimes if you have like the sweat equity and the knowledge, you're coming in like 50%. If he has all the money, he's probably not gonna want less than like 50%. And sometimes the other person like trumps the other person a little bit, but you use like the sweat equity and he brings the money and you just kind of negotiate from there on what you want to do. But there's a guy could do it for 1%, he could do it for 99%. You know, it's totally up to you. 1,000 different ways that you can do it.
But this would also give you the opportunity to build that relationship, and then you could negotiate the terms for better, better yourself as you go along.
Do you have to explain to them like how you're gonna actually spend the money? So like, let's say you get the 300,000.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like, oh, well, you're bringing in the sweat equity, blah, 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 but you end up doing more. Is there a way to negotiate, like, you know what, like at the end of the day, this, I actually put in more, like 70%.
Right. I should have like thrown an agreement up here. I could email like an agreement, like a sample agreement. I'll like block out the names and maybe some of the monies that we did, or I'll change it and put different percentages, but it'll read exactly what it is. So you'll list out everything that you can possibly think of, everything that can possibly happen good and everything that can possibly happen bad. And there's samples. Honestly, the first one I did years ago, I went to Google and I just typed out like a business agreement between like two parties. And it'll throw up like a 10-page deal. It sounds like an attorney wrote it. And you just read through it. You put in what you want, you take out what you don't. It's all negotiable, it's all flexible, but it needs to be written down. Both you need to sign it and agree to it.
And it's legal binding.
Yeah, if it's signed by two people in Arizona, yeah. So Jared brought up a good question. He says, well, do you have to explain how you're gonna use the money? So like to a certain extent, I know, like if I'm gonna be the guy that's like the sweat equity guy, like I'm gonna run it. And I like to do that, even though like, even if I had money, it's just because I have that control issue where I wanna be in control of my money. If I'm gonna lose my money, I'm gonna lose it. I'm not gonna let Jared go lose it for me. I'm just not there yet, right? So I like to be in control. I don't tell him exactly like every penny on where I think I'm going to spend it. I just tell him like, once you give me this money, I'm immediately going to start putting it to work. Like, you're gonna give me $200,000 to go buy this house. By Friday at 1 p.m. our bank account is gonna read $7 in it, because I got that shit out and it's working. I don't say like, dude, I'm gonna spend $50 at Home Depot, I'm gonna spend 200,000 over here, I'm gonna spend $75 over here. I don't do that. You want it?
Want you to give like estimates, like repair estimates of like where you got that number from.
Yeah.
50,000.
And we have a spreadsheet that we did last week, and I'll make sure that we send it out tomorrow. Nikki will send it out to you guys, so you'll have a copy of that spreadsheet. It would be a good idea to put that spreadsheet together and then like take it to present it to your friend. to whoever's gonna give you the money.
Last week, did you go over like, because to me, the hardest thing is finding the house.
That was last week's class.
Was it last week?
Yeah, so she sent out, like the Zoom, we record the Zooms, so you can actually go back and
Okay.
watch it. And if you still have questions, get back with me, we'll sit down some other time and tell you that. But yes, we did know that. It is a great idea, again, like you just want to prevent all the disagreements, like you want to still have this relationship with your buddy or your dad or your uncle, or whoever it is, right? Like people say, oh, you never mix business with family. But just people who didn't like prepare right? That's people who didn't have like written legit agreements. I think too many agreements are made like at dinner time when you're freaking 3 mimosas or whatever in, right? Like, oh yeah, I'll give you 300 grand for like 2%, dude. But like, you gotta write that down. You gotta have multiple conversations about that to make sure that person understands exactly what is expected and exactly what's gonna happen. And same for you, who's responsible for what and who's not, who's doing this, who's doing that. That's all written down. It's all a win-win. Everybody likes it. If nobody likes it, don't do it. If there's some person that's like, dude, I'm getting screwed on here, they're not going to like bring their 110% to this relationship. It needs to happen. So it has to be a win-win for everybody. And if it's not, you'd rather know before you went in and spent all this money with these people. Like you want to go spend $500,000 with a guy, or maybe buy 2 houses. And then he goes, oh man, I really need that money back because like I gotta buy it. You know, the wife's car blew up this weekend. I gotta buy a new one. So I need that money. Like, how am I gonna get the money back, bro? Like, I just bought 2 houses. They're already demoed. I can't sell them now because they're torn apart. Like, no, you're gonna have to wait. And make sure that the person is willing to risk 100% of that money that they're going to give you. Like when you take that money, you say, okay, and in your agreement, you understand that this could all blow up and you will get 0. Like, are you okay with losing all this money? Like you legit want to have that conversation. And if you don't have it, you're just asking for like a huge blow up and a huge disagreement. So if you take anything home from this, it's get a written agreement down that is win-win for both parties. And you can, I mean, there's so many different ways you can negotiate stuff. It's insane, but just make sure it's a win-win for you
So
and for them.
with the private money situation, is that separate from you having maybe a relative or a friend who loans you the money, but then records the deed of trust on the property after you close to protect their interests?
They can, and I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people don't like go into that. I've never had like a person really go into that extreme with me, but like, if you were the investor and you wanted to protect yourself for it, 100%, I would write that in the agreement. And record the deed.
Well, because then they're not out, completely out.
100%, because if you default or something goes wrong, at least you get the property back and you can try to salvage that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Again, that's a negotiating tactic that you can use on either side. And if you want to better protect the guy with the money or make him feel more comfortable that his money is not at risk, you do exactly what Leah said. Okay, check this out. If we default, you have all the rights to the house. I'll even pre-sign the deed or whatever. And if something goes wrong, you just go record the deed and you can have the house, right? So you're gonna have to really like build the confidence in the project to the person. Because most of the time, like your uncle, maybe he made money off stocks. So is he gonna fully understand like the flipping process, the real estate process, what it goes in, what comes out? Probably not, right? So you're gonna have to know the process of what we've done over the last 3 classes in order to like teach your private money person to where you build the confidence, you build the confidence in them, or you build the confidence in yourself to where they feel confident in you also, right? So you have to know like the ins and outs of the game to get somebody to really like give you that money. So that's kind of a con, just because you have to teach people, and if they're really like closed-minded, I would kind of stay away from those people. Like try to find the people that who are a little more like, would rather be a little more risky with the money, or maybe somebody that has a lot more money. But you're not gonna go, if your brother only has $200,000 in his retirement account and he's already 55 years old, I probably wouldn't go try to convince him to give you $200,000. That's a huge risk for him. I try to find somebody that has $2 million sitting in the bank account. Just need somewhere to move it. Maybe they need a tax write-off or something. Find those people, right? And you will. You have those people. You don't know it. You have them. the gap between you now and finding them is a phone call, is a conversation. Cause you don't know what people are working with on the other side. They might have torn up clothes, drive a beat up old truck. Those are some of the richest people that I know, right? So if you don't ask, you won't get it, 100%. If you don't take the first step, you're not gonna go anywhere, guaranteed. So all they can say is no, and if they say no, great, man, move on, right? Find somebody else. Let's do an example real quick of this. So let's say you're gonna buy the house at $200,000. It's gonna take 50 grand to remodel it. And we're gonna sell it for 350 grand. So what's cool about private money, let's say, dude will bring, but the guy will bring like 180,000. That means you have to bring 20,000. Your person will finance all the remodel costs. But he wants 10% of the profits. What do you get over here? 90% of the profits, right? Our profit is $100,000. So he made 10,000. How much did you make? 90,000. So if you Google cash on cash return, there's gonna be a formula on how to figure it out. It's basically how much cash do you spend versus how much you get back. That's gonna give you like a range of what a good cash on cash return would be. So would you spend $20,000 to make $90,000?
Are you spending 70 because you're financing the?
No, it's private money.
So his buddy, so my buddy is also gonna pay for
Oh,
this.
I thought you said.
Oh, sorry. So my buddy, my private money guy is gonna do the 180 plus the 50. So I'll put private money, sorry, man, one marker, going there. So my private money person is gonna pay for the 180 and the 50. All I'm responsible for, because he knows I don't have a ton of cash, but I'm the sweat equity person. I'm the labor guy, we'll call it. For 20 grand, but all he wants is $10,000. He wants 10% of the profits. It's great. So you came out of pocket 20 grand, 3 months later, when you sold it, you got 90 grand. That's an insane return, right?
Do it every time.
Yeah, every
What do
time.
you get taxed on? How much tax on that? Like,
So-
what percent?
Well, a short-term capital gains, I believe, is 38% right now. Yep. So if you voted Democrat, thank you for that. Republicans would cut that shit in half. Anyway, no, I don't care what party you're in. Like I said I think I used that same joke last week, right? But like the tax, so you think of tax, like you're gonna have to pay it, right? Like death and taxes are the only two things guaranteed in life. So if you're gonna look at this, you look at this as, cool, man, I'd rather be on the side that I have to pay taxes rather than I need to use the government, to subsidize my way of living. So think of that as a blessing. You have the opportunity to make crazy amounts of money to where you get to pay this tax. Okay, that's one thing. Get your mind right. The second one, you want to lower your tax liability as much as possible. So how do you do that? Is you're gonna have a big write-off right here. Okay,
Is that your write-off or his write-off?
well, like whose name is it in?
Okay.
Right, if we put the deed in both of our names, then you both get to split it, or if you're in an LLC together. Like if you're gonna do this like over and over and over again, I would create an LLC and then that LLC gets to write it off. And in the LLC, it'll show what portion of ownership is his, what portion of ownership is yours. So then if you're 50-50, then each one of you guys is gonna pay 19%.
And even if you do
And
it
you get to split.
individually, it can be percentages on the 1099, it can be 10% and 90% on the 1099.
100%. So if he's 10% owner, he's only gonna be 3.8%. You're liable for the 35% or whatever, but you get 90% of this 50 to write off too, okay? I mean, you're still gonna pay tax.
Yeah.
On
I
this,
wasn't sure what that range was. I had no idea what it was.
so long-term, or sorry, short-term capital gains tax, I believe right now is 38%. They're trying to get to like 40. Okay, so like, watch how you vote. I'm serious, watch how you vote. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, man, but just watch how you vote, especially like. If you're gonna make this an option and you're gonna start making like really good, I call it drug lord money. This is the fastest way to lose all that money.
But if you decide to go a different route and you're not gonna do fix and flip, you're gonna like, wait, Heather, buy and hold, then you could do 1031 exchanges and defer your taxes, but I don't know enough about that to.
Yeah, 1031 is more like if you're gonna sell an investment property or you're gonna sell a property to buy another property.
Well, you have to buy a like property,
Right.
but you do defer.
You can defer up to like a certain amount of time. So like you can defer it up to a year, I believe. Yeah. I think, I don't know.
It could be, I don't know.
Ask your lender guy.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
you can defer it. Yeah, this is the way here. This is the way that you can like structure, okay? Anybody got any questions on that? This right here is like, if you had access to private money and you had a person that is willing to do it with you. And again, like if you want to set up like a conversation, like if you had an uncle or whatever, and you're like, ah, man, I really want this guy to do it, but he's asking these questions that I don't know about. Like, hit me up, call me, like, let's sit down. I'll teach both of you again, like what it is, and I'll make sure that you understand and that he understands to where that you guys can have a very successful relationship and move on, right? So if you have, so private money, if you don't have money, private money to me is the best option to go with. Okay, like especially first starting out, it's good. This one, if you have somebody that has money, this is a better option than hard money. Okay, so if you know somebody that has money, this is the best option. Because right here, I'm telling you, just the negotiating of the terms is insane. It's insane. Yeah, you can do no interest because he's got cash on it. Where he's gonna make his interest could be like at the back end, It's normally the guy that names the price, the other guy gets to name the terms. Right? Okay, so cool. That was super handy. Again, it's plausible. It's just reaching out to your sphere, your contacts. You might know somebody that has a lot of money that wants to do this. There's people out there that have a lot of money, but don't want to put in the time or the sweat equity or don't know about it, right? Again, you have that uncle who has the money from the stock market, but he doesn't know anything about real estate. You know a lot about real estate, but you don't have millions of dollars. Like he wants to make more money. Sometimes rich people like to make more money, right? There's a reason they have money to make more money, right? Okay, seller carryback. So this one like, it could be a little bit confusing, but again, it's super cool, and I'll try to explain it like best I can. So again, it's very, very similar to like the private money, except for the seller is now the bank. Okay, so instead of paying like Bank of America, you're gonna pay, what do I want to pay? Jana, you want to make money? You can pay Jana.
Yes, I need to pay that.
So Jana owns a house. We'll put Jana in this house.
I want it to be cute.
Jana owns a house. Roll Tide, okay. So you wanna buy Jana's house. Let's say Jana wants $400,000 for it. Let's say it's only worth $350,000. Let's say you were gonna rent this out. Can your long-term mortgage cover the 400? If it can, you're gonna buy it. Because what you're gonna do, I said it earlier, one person gets to name the price. What does the other person normally get to do? The terms. You can make a crazy amount of money or save a crazy amount of money on terms. So you're gonna say like, okay, Jana, you want $400,000? I'll pay you $400,000, even though it's worth $350,000. I'll pay you $400,000 because I know once I fix it up, maybe it's an Airbnb or VRBO, you can kill it and blow your monthly budget out of the water, right? So that's not an option. So it's fine. I'll pay you the $400,000, but I'm only going to put $10,000 down, and I'm only going to pay you $1,500 a month. with a balloon payment at the end of 5 years, amortized over 30 years. Okay, so I threw a lot at you here, so I'm gonna back up. I'm hoping everybody on the screen can kind of see that. So Jana wants the $400,000. You're willing to give her the $400,000, but in return, you only want to put $10,000 in. That's less than, what is that, 5? That's less than 1. Yeah, that's really not a big percent down. If you're willing to, I don't know the math on that. $1,500 a month, but again, once you fix this up and you rent it out, you can make like $3,000 a month. So what does it matter? Why would you fight Jana over the $50,000? Because you're gonna keep it long-term anyway, and she's willing to give you a monthly payment that is half of what you can make on it. So your net is still $1,500 a month. If you're netting $1,500 a month on an investment property, that's a really, really good return. Especially with only putting $10,000 cash down. So if somebody said, hey man, give me $10,000 and I'll give you $1,500 a month for the next 5 years, would you do that? 100%. What's 12 times 1,500? 18,000 or something like that. Okay, so you're getting it paid back in 8 months, 7 months. You're getting your $10,000 back. Okay, so go back to this. A balloon payment. Does everybody know what a balloon payment is? It's like one big payment. You gotta pay everything off.
So you're talking about doing interest only or?
No, so that, yeah, so on here, you can also negotiate interest rates. On here, I would negotiate a 0% interest rate. I would tell you, Jana's making her interest in the $50,000 difference. Her house is only worth $350. You're giving her $400,000. You're instead of paying the interest over 5 years or 30 years, you're gonna give it to her all in this agreement, right? So she's getting her interest already. So I would negotiate like nothing because you're paying it right here. Okay, so that's why I'm going 0%. So a balloon payment in 5 years, which means in 5 years, now all this comes off the principal, right? So every month you're taking $1,500 or less every month. Okay, so at the end of it, in 5 years, whatever's left, say it's $350, you have to make that one big payment to Jana. So normally you're gonna go back with that traditional financing loan, get a conventional loan on it. You pay Jana all her money back. But amortized over 30 years. And that's kind of what that, I'm assuming like what that payment would be. Meaning, you're gonna do the math where you make 360 payments. So if you divide 400 into 360 payments, let's say it's $1,500 a month. So for the next 5 years, you are only paying $1,500 a month. Because, does everybody understand that? Like, you figured her monthly payment off a 30-year, like off a 30-year note, right? But you have to pay it all back in 5 years. But if you had to pay it back in 5 years, this number would be like $6,500, right? But so that's why you want to amortize it over 30 years and knocks this payment back down to $1,500. That's more doable. There's also a very cool clause that you can put in. I call it like the 20% clause. Meaning in 5 years, when you have to pay Jana her lump sum, if this house has not appreciated 20%, so if it's not worth $480,000, you get 1 more year of an extension in order for the market to kind of appreciate. And then let's say after year 2, it still doesn't appreciate 20%. I get 1 more year. Then you can go all the way until I hit 20%, or you can go up to like 10 years and then I finally have to come up and make all the money. What's cool about the 20% clause is when you go to refinance, you have to leave 20% equity in the property. So instead of coming to terms in 5 years where you have to pay Jana her lump sum and come out of pocket 20% cash, so 80 grand, you have it to where you're protected, where you let the economy pay your down payment, right? You let the appreciation of the value of the house pay your down payment. So you agree to pay Jana $400,000. You're gonna wait because your clause until the house is worth $480,000. Now you're gonna refinance it And they're gonna use this $80,000 as your 20% down payment. So you did not come out of pocket any more money. So you bought a house worth $480,000 and all you paid was $10,000 cash.
Plus improvements, though, right?
If you made improvements, right? On an investment property that we said you're making 3,000 or yeah, 3,000, so you're netting $1,500 a month on. Like this is an insane deal. Now, what's cool about this is Jana happy? Did Jana get what she wanted? 100%. Did you overpay for the house? Yes, you did. Would most people say that is a wise investment to overpay for something? No, that would be a horrible investment, right? But there's a super badass word. Terms. Because Jana was happy with her overpriced house. You got to create all these terms right here. And you freaking scored a sick house with a sick return. She's super excited because she got her number that she wanted. An awesome investment, awesome investment. So this is like a seller carryback. Now you can make a payment. I highly suggest you go through what they call a servicing, like a servicing company. What that does is like, okay, so you have to make a payment to Jana for $1,500. Like, what if you gave Jana $1,500 or $1,500 bills? Right? How do you prove that you really paid Jana? You don't. But if you pay the servicing company, then they pay Jana or they pay Jana's Bank of America, wherever her loan is at. Then this company is responsible for keeping the record and all that stuff. They normally cost like $30 a month. Highly recommend it because if Jana wanted to come foreclose on you, like if Jana starts getting foreclosed on because you paid her $100 bills, but Jana went shopping or maybe she went and bought a new car and she didn't pay her mortgage on it, Bank of America is gonna foreclose on Jana because you paid her straight cash. But if you would have went this route through a servicing company, this servicing company would have paid Bank of America on behalf of Jana. So she's not getting foreclosed on. As long as you make your payment, she's not getting foreclosed on. Now, you don't have to go that route if you don't want to.
So I'm sorry, you know what, I guess I missed that in the beginning, so this is more of a wrap, right?
It's kind of a wrap, but like a wrap more like through like a Bank of America loan.
Yeah,
Like seller carryback is very, very similar to a wrap, but if like this was Wells Fargo and this was Bank of America, then it'd be like a wrap. I don't know. I've never dealt with like a wrap. Well, that's
well,
what
usually with a seller carryback, they usually own it outright because a lot of title companies won't close that deal. Because you're not paying out the lender.
right. So you don't have to necessarily close, you can, I don't know the term, but you can get put on title. Sometimes Jana has to stay on the, you can be put on the deed.
Mhm.
Sometimes Jana has to stay on the deed because if Bank of America finds out that Jana sold the house to Neil, Bank of America is gonna go, wait, man, I didn't qualify Neil. I don't know if Neil can make the payment. So Jana, you need to pay off your house and you pay it off right now. So, okay, so here's the deed. Here's a piece of paper, it's got Jana on there. And now it's got Neil on there. Bank of America can't call, well, they can, but they won't call the note due because Jana, who qualified in the beginning, is still on the note. Now you can make Jana to where she has like no voting rights. And like no financial, like she's not doing anything financially. Meaning like, she can't sell a house. When Neil goes to sell the house, she doesn't get any of the proceeds. Like she's basically just on the deed to make sure Bank of America doesn't call that note due.
Does she have to sign off on selling, like, let's say Neil wants to sign the house, sell the house, but Janet doesn't?
No. She has like no voting rights.
You would have had her pre-sign a deed and it would be on file with the servicing company.
100%.
A lot of people do that though, like.
Yeah. Why would, Jared, you don't want this house anymore. You want to move, but you want to get a crazy rate for it. Like she's held to it as long as Neil is making his payments.
Okay.
Now, if Neil stops making his payments, Jana gets to foreclose on Neil. Jana doesn't have to pay any of this shit back,
And keeps what it's already been.
and she gets her whole house back. Now, she gets in the condition that Neil left it, but if I know Neil, he fixes the sucker up because he's trying to make $3,000 a month. So in 5 years, when Neil can't qualify for this and he loses it, Jana forecloses on it. Neil paid Jana 5 years worth of $1,500 payments. Jana doesn't owe Neil anything. Jana gets this house back in mint condition because Neil's fixed it up now. And then Jana just goes and re-records the deed and wipes Neil off the deed. She gets the house back. Now she can do it all over again. There are people like, this is almost like everybody's heard like rent to own or lease to own options. This is like, and people do it a lot, and it's becoming more common as people can't qualify for houses. So if an investor can go and pay cash for like 10 houses, they can do like a lease to own option and give these guys these terms in hopes that they foreclose on, that they can't make it 30 years. If they can't make it 30 years, they've gotten all the rent and everything back, but now they get the house. Right? So there's people that, there's a business plan behind like lease to own stuff, hoping, not necessarily hoping. But like you're gonna pay more than the house is worth, even at 0% interest. And they're hoping that you default on the loan, they get the house back in.
Well, even when you buy a house from a bank, you're paying way more than the house is worth with all the
That's right.
interest and everything.
Yep.
So for the buyer then too, they're getting way more house than what they would get like in a conventional loan, right?
100%, like it could work. The terms could work for these people because if the person, the individual Jana owns this house outright, she can make whatever terms she wants. She's basically just renting it out in a way, except for she's not responsible for taxes. She's not responsible for insurance. She doesn't technically own the house. She's just the bank of it. If she could foreclose on that sucker and get the whole house back. This
I
was
would never do that to you, Neil.
Well, if you can do a flag in the front yard.
well, like, let's say, you know, these are gonna become very, very popular, especially the exact situation that we are in the market right now. What is this unique situation about the market right now is that there's sellers that still haven't realized that we're in a rapidly declining market. So they're still wanting $400,000 for that house. But now there's buyers that can't qualify for a $400,000 house because why? What is unique about the market right now?
Interest rate.
The fucking interest rates are insane. So Jana could win by getting her $400,000 house, even though it's worth $350. She could get $400 for it and offer a person terms to where they can afford it. So she won because she got 50 grand over her house price. These people won because they got in on great terms. Even if you had to pay interest, like put 5% interest on it. Would somebody sign on a 5% loan right now?
Yeah.
100%. Is a 5% return good for Jana?
If I was Jana, I'd want my 50,000 though, up front.
So some people want it, some people don't care.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, no, they're stuck on the 400 grand. Well, like, man, but it's tied up for 5 years until you can get paid off, but they don't care. No, I want my 400 grand. Okay, I'll pay you 400 grand. So again, if you're an investor and you want to come across this, just make sure that your your terms, your monthly payment, you can make money on it. Okay. If you want to buy a house this way, your primary house, again, negotiate a rate that you feel comfortable making that payment. But I would not be afraid to do this. Like this is, you could make a lot of money. You could be super successful, especially on a long-term hold. Like if you wanted to buy this and hold on to it for 20 years because you're making $1,500 a month, this is a super cool way to do it. I threw a lot at you, but you can definitely research seller finance or seller carryback. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody on Zoom? Were you guys even able to see that? I scratched a bunch in there. Probably those people are even there still.
We can see most of it, Sam.
Oh, thanks, Brett.
Sam,
Mhm.
question, would Jana be able to refinance the house if it's under that? No, okay, so is that?
She would have to, like, if Jana, if that house was paid off, but Jana needed cash, this is another cool thing, right? And it's, man, there's a lot, but thanks for asking it, Jared. So Jana wants $400,000 for her house. She owes 0. Jana can refinance, but it has to happen before you or Neil goes on the deed. Because once he's on the deed, then he has to qualify for it. So if she wants to refinance and say she wants $200,000 out, she can refinance that and then like sign the deed to you. But now she'll owe $200,000 that she's responsible for. But hopefully that monthly payment that you negotiated will cover her monthly payment back to the bank when she refinances it, right? See it? You see how I did that?
So, but like right now, well, in this market that we're in right now, that wouldn't work necessarily, right? Because the interest rate is too high, but like.
Yeah,
in
nobody's gonna
July, it would
refi
be
anything right now.
perfect, right?
I mean, like. It really depends on how much, like how bad you need this cash. Like, if the people need this cash to get like to their next house. They might take a HELOC on it, like a home equity line of credit, or they might suck it up and take a 7, or I think we're at 6.5 today, 6.5% interest rate. To get that money. Again, like if I was Jana and she wanted to take it out, even if that interest rate is 6.5%. What if she was taking this out to buy an apartment complex that her cap rate was 13%? I mean, is she not making more money than her 6.5%? 100%. I would take that deal all day long. I would borrow money at 6.5% to make 13% return.
Double, right?
So anyway, yeah, that's how you can do it. You can refinance. So again, like if you're going to somebody who owns their house outright, but they're like, no, man, I need cash first. Okay, go refinance, pull your money out. And whatever your monthly payment is, that's what I'll pay. I'll pay your monthly payment. So where Janet gets her $200,000, but now she has a $1,500 month payment. Well, Neil's already agreed to pay that $1,500 month payment. So how is Janet out right now? She's not. I mean, as long as Neil's paying that payment for her, she's not out. Did Janet get her $200,000 that she wanted? Yeah. Did Neil get his $1,500 payment that he wanted? Yeah.
So if you were Jana, like, or somebody came to me and I had the money to do that, I would do that, because then I would go take that 200,000 and buy another investment property, and then I'm not even paying for anything. Like the tenant is or whatever, right?
100%.
Neil is paying for all of it.
Yes.
But I'm still confused I'm not understanding. When they owe something, this is the part that's throwing me, when they actually have an existing loan on the property.
Okay.
How are you getting title insurance when they already have an existing loan on the property? And you're changing ownership, you're changing vesting. So how are you, what kind of a deal are you calling that where the title company is going to insure it for you?
Okay, so let's say,
Because without paying off the existing mortgage, that's the part that totally, I get lost.
right,
in
so
that.
you and her go on the deed. We have a house right now in Peoria.
Well, I think Heather might have tried to tell me about this one day, but I just want to know, do you know what the term is, what it's called?
I
Okay.
don't,
Okay.
the title guy would know what that is.
Okay,
But he basically said like, yeah, he has like no financial responsibility, no like power of attorney, no voting rights. He's strictly on the deed and that's it.
mhm.
So, but since Neil is on the deed here, he can carry the title insurance, he can carry homeowner's insurance, he pays the taxes, he basically owns it.
Mhm.
Let's say that Jana had a $1,300 payment because she still owes $200,000. Even though Neil bought it for $400,000, Jana still owes this, and that is her payment. This is where the servicing company comes in. So Neil is gonna pay $1,500 to the servicing company. Servicing company is gonna take $1,300 to B of A, I'm just assuming that's Jana's bank. And then $200, here's Jana. You'll pay $200 to Janet, because that's the remainder, right? 13,2 is 15. So even though she owes something on it, you're still gonna pay one lump, you're gonna pay that monthly payment to the servicing company, they're gonna direct it to the bank, and then the rest goes to Jana. And as long as you're on the deed, and however your title company wants to do that. I mean, we're on the deed, I don't think the guy is not on there, he's on the loan. And he still has a payment that we're making his payment through a servicing company, but we're making his payment as low as like $1,400 a month. But our names are on the deed, his is not. His is not on the deed.
But he has the loan.
He has a loan, he has the risk. So if he went to go get a truck, it would show that he owns this house. But technically he doesn't, because I have the title, or I'm on the deed. I own the house. He owns the loan, or he has the debt to the loan.
But the bank still has the right to foreclose.
The bank does have the right to call the note due or foreclose on the loan, which means I would have to come up with the money and buy that house. But hopefully you either paid it down enough or you have equity in it. There's a little risk that you take there of having to, cover the loan, but then just go get your traditional financing and buy it outright. Cool, good question. I like that. You guys good? Okay. And like, it doesn't go against like your line of credit, it doesn't go against your 10 house max that you can own, like, nobody knows about this, other than like the title company. Okay, DSCR loan, anybody ever heard of these? DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio, so basically what it is, let's say you bought a house at $200,000. Your mortgage on it is $1,200. Mortgage. You can rent it out for $1,500. They will qualify. That's how you buy the house. They look at what the debt is and what your service coverage is. And as long as you can do that, and some people are 10% over, some people are 20% over. So if you can cover it by 20%, they'll sell you the house. I mean, you have to qualify a little bit, like they might want to see like how many houses you own, how many did you flip in the last 5 years? Are you a contractor or what, but you normally don't have to qualify with like a W-2. So it's easy to qualify, totally based on portfolio, like what is your mortgage versus what can you rent it for? These notes are normally covered like in the lower price point range. So like there's lenders that have, and it's hard to imagine in Arizona, well, probably didn't hear about it, but they have floors. So like Bank of America or a mortgage company, they won't loan less than, most of them are like 250,000. So if you wanted to buy something less than 250,000, you would have to go with a different type of loan. You couldn't go with a traditional loan because they won't loan that low. DSCR loans normally use like private money or venture capitalist guys to cover the notes like that. You have typically a higher interest rate. So like if as an investor, my rate right now will probably be like a 7.5, 7.7. You're probably at like an 8 with a DSCR loan. So you're just like a tick higher. Closing costs are normally pretty cheap. There's not really a max loan amount, meaning this is what's cool for investors. So my goal is to have over 100 properties, like out of state single family houses within the next 5 years. So I would be capped out at 10 if I did the traditional route, where a DSCR loan, again, as long as I'm covered here, I can own 100 properties in it. Like there's no limit to how many houses you can own.
You can sell that?
Yeah, okay, 100%. Yep, so if you bought it for 200, let's say you fixed it up, or after a year you want to sell it, and it's worth 220. You sell it just like you had a traditional note on it. The title company is going to take the proceeds, they're going to pay your DSCR loan off, and then they're going to cut you a check for the proceeds. So if you want to do like investing on like a big scale, meaning like quantity of houses, this is the route to go right here. Yep. And then what you can do after. I don't know if there's a rule on it, but after so many houses, you can like group them together and then go get like a commercial loan on it. I'm not sure. Really what like the pros and cons would be. I know one, so if you had 10 houses and your interest rate varied from like 8.5%, and let's say you bought them 2 years ago and your interest rate was 3%. They normally would take the average of these two. So you'd be somewhere in like the 5.5% interest rate. So I mean, that's kind of, it's pro and a con, I guess, because it's higher, but it's lower. But you can group them up. Ask your loan guy about the pros and cons of that. I don't really know. But DSCR, if you want to do like high volume, you want to do a lot of these houses, DSCR is the way to go. If you want to go out of state investing, what sucks about Arizona right now with the prices? It's insanely high. That is a risk to get into investing, right? What's cool about, we're in Ohio. What's cool about Ohio? Right? Right, well, that's good and bad, right? My first house I paid 70,000 for, my last house we paid $100,000. Like you can't touch that here, but you also can't get traditional financing on it, so you have to go DSCR.
Why can't you get traditional financing?
Because the amount's too low.
Oh.
You have a, most outfits have a floor that they won't loan under, because at that point, like, you're super risky.
Does that not change in different states based off of like housing prices?
This will, but it really depends on like the bank, and it'll fluctuate with the bank and how they operate. Like the big ones like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they're not gonna loan less than that. No matter
So
what.
like Bank of America is in Ohio, because the home values are less.
On a mortgage, they won't. Because what was explained to me is if you go less than this, it's when people start wanting to take out like private or personal loans. So like, but at a mortgage interest rate.
But they will loan you a lower amount and charge you a higher interest rate, some banks will.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's more of like the private style. And they're gonna jack your interest rate.
Well, like UWM is a wholesale lender and they will loan you less, but they will charge you more interest.
100%, because you're risky, like. Most of that, those guys are trying to go buy a truck or they're trying to put something in their business. Well, sometimes the business doesn't have assets that they can repossess. They have a failing business that they don't want. They can't go sell a failing business and get their money back. So they don't want to go less than that because like you can go qualify for a personal loan. And they want to be able to charge you that higher rate because you're super risky at the lower amount. And it might vary, banks to banks might vary, state to state might vary. But I know DSCR, they'll go, I think their minimum's like 40,000.
So when you bought those houses in Ohio, are you holding those two, or are you trying to flip them?
I was trying to hold them. I fixed 2 of them up, I got 1 left to do. I was gonna hold them. Where I made the big mistake is when we start talking about cash. Oh, that's not the cash, that's assumption. When you buy a house cash, so I thought I was being cool and like saving a ton of money by using my cash right here. So instead of like doing a hard money and paying on 70,000, and I was done with the flip and everything in like 3 months, I probably would have paid, oh my God, like $1,200 in interest. But what I didn't know, and they changed this law like during the COVID period, that if you pay cash for a house, it has to season for 6 months.
Yeah.
Has that been a rule for a long
It's been a
time?
rule for longer than.
Oh, it
that.
has?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool, I got to learn that after I paid cash. I'm like $350,000 deep out in Ohio right now. I couldn't refinance because I had to let it season for 6 months. Anyway, long story short, there's terrible people out there that I couldn't like rent these out to. They either been arrested, evicted, or they don't have a job. So, and I don't.
Well, I know.
I don't rent to those people, so I am rapidly trying to pull out of Ohio, but if you use cash, it has to season for 6 months. Now you can refinance, but you're not refinancing it at the ARV value. they will make you leave 20% of the original purchase price in there. So I could only loan out $56,000 if I wanted to refinance this one.
There's another rule too about another waiting period. I can't remember exactly, but it's if you make a certain amount, like a hundred.
So for FA, like if I bought this house and I fixed it up and I wanted to sell it to an FHA buyer,
Not that, there's
Oh.
another rule. So you have to get a second appraisal for sure. You have to get 2 appraisals. The seller has to get one and the buyer has to get one, and I'll have to look it up, but there's another rule
yeah, I mean,
about.
if you make too much money, I would love that.
If you make a gross amount of profit on that
Yeah.
house that you purchase,
Okay.
there's another penalty, yeah.
That's fine. I'm willing to pay that $300 appraisal fee if I make million or hundreds of thousands. Yeah, so this is what's cool about a hard money. Is hard money you can refinance right away. Because like they've already. Like, it's almost like they qualified the money already, like they know, they tracked it, they know where the money came from. So they can track it. They want to make sure you're not laundering money through real estate. So if you pay cash, you better plan on holding that sucker for 6 months, which kind of sucks.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
Laundering money throughout.
What percentage do you have that down?
For DSCR loans?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like 20%.
Okay.
So you still need 20%.
Across the board.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's like 20. If you go 25, sometimes lenders will give you a better rate. So instead of putting 20 down and having a 7% interest rate, if you went 25% down, they'd probably cut you down like a point. Just gotta do the math on it. Yeah. So assumptions. And I don't know a lot about these, but they're getting even more popular. Basically what you can do is. So Janet has a loan on a house at 3.5% interest rate. Neil wants to buy it today where interest rates are 8%. If her loan is assumable, Neil can qualify for that house and basically like inherit
Right?
her terms. VA loans are assumable. Some FHA loans are, I don't know which ones are, but some are assumable, meaning, yeah, if somebody bought the house when interest rates were 2 or 3%. You basically get those same terms. You're grandfathered into their terms.
But you have to qualify.
You have to qualify for like the remainder of it. Yeah. So the difference, so if Janet wanted to sell it for more, you have to be able to qualify for the difference. Which is super cool because that's how you can inherit some really low terms, really low interest rates.
But a VA loan has to be your primary?
Well, and I think the person assuming has to be a VA, has to also be a veteran.
Yeah. So a VA only works for your primary. You can't have a VA loan on an investment property. And then also if you are assuming the person's VA loan, they can't use VA privileges to buy their next house. So a VA loan is a little harder to do because those guys want to go and get their perks or whatever benefits that they have for being VA. So that's another really cool option that you should research a little more, but when you go to buy a house, you should always ask your lender, hey, is this house assumable or not? Because you would like to assume a 3% interest rate. Okay, cash. Pros, you don't have to spend financing fees, right? There's no cost to the money. You can close as fast as your title company can close, 10, 12 days. Cons. Look at there. Who thought like using cash to buy stuff was the best route? Who was taught that in life?
Yeah.
I was. Like, I was always taught like, here's taking.
Cool, yeah.
That's the old school method, right? Dave Ramsey, you save up so you don't have to take a loan out. There's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Has anybody read that book in there? I want you to read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's insane. He talks about how the wealthy and the rich know how to manage their debt. They take on debt, 100%. It's how you can manage that debt. So in this instance, let's use my case in Ohio. First house I bought was $68,000. I paid cash for it. I bought another one at $115,000. Paid cash for it because I thought I was being cool and saving money. Next house I bought was $135,000. I paid cash for it. Thought I was cool. So can somebody add that up for me real quick?
250, and then another 60 is
340.
318.
318. Thank you, Leah. $318,000 cash tied up. My interest on this after I flipped it would have been $2,000 at most. My interest on this would have been $2,500 at most. My interest on this would have been $2,800 at most. So 2, 4, 6, 7,300. Okay, so I saved $7,300. That's cool, right? $7,300. That's cool. So from when I bought this one to this one was a 30-day span. I mean, I was hammering them out. My goal was to get 20 every year. I had 3 in 30 days. I was like, dude, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna get 30 houses this year. It's gonna be insane. Well, then I found out that you had to leave it in here for 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. So now, like, shit, man, I'm screwed. I can't get my money back for 6 months. So now I was on track to hit 30 houses. Now I'm on track to hit 6. But what's cool about this is it drained my account. The day after I closed this one, my realtor out there brought me brought me 6 more deals. Did the math on each one of them. They averaged $45,000 up to a $70,000 spread. I had the cash to put, 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Fucking used all my cash. I used all my cash to save that freaking number right there. Like that number right there. So add this up, Leah. Let's say that's shit. No, do the math there. 65, and let's do another 65,000. What is it? We got those up. We got one more.
Yeah, you're just
Oh, shit. Okay, make another
you're at
70.
370.
Throw salt on the wound. How much?
370.
$370,000. Like, did I save money or did I lose money?
You're losing it because you had to sit on for 6 months.
But how much do you anticipate making in that Ohio market for those homes that you purchased above?
Okay. Like 35,
And you're pretty positive about it?
yeah.
And how much
So I
repair
think
did you have to put into that though?
I made 80,000, I'm gonna make $80,000, which is not bad, right? It's not bad. I'm still ahead. I still have an $80,000 or $85,000 spread. But like, it's the opportunity cost is what you could have made.
But what,
Because like my poor way of thinking.
so you're positive that you would have also done really well on those homes?
I mean, like projecting, right? Like when I did the same research on these 2 houses, like I do the same research on every single house. Normally it takes me just 30 minutes to kind of tell you if I'm gonna go or no go on a house. Yes, like my splits were right around this area here. So like, again, like you gotta read that Rich Dad Poor Dad book because they talk about, especially at like our young ages, if we were again in a room with 80-year-old people, this would be a different conversation. To them, this would have been the smartest choice because they don't have mortgages on them. You can rent each one of these houses out for $2,000. So you can make $6,000 a month and it'll be pretty consistent. At a young age, I would take on all the debt that I could. I would put the minimal amount down. Because if I had to put the minimal amount down on all 3 of these, and then I would have been able to buy all 6 of these, I would have made $370,000 more dollars.
I kind of sort of follow an investor in Oregon.
Mhm.
And is it true you can borrow against your life insurance too?
Yeah, so like after you've built like a certain amount of years in it, or you've paid into a certain percent.
Right.
So if you have so much, so if you have $1 million life insurance policy, and let's say you've paid in $400,000 of it, I think you can take out the $400,000 and use it to real estate. I've never done it before.
It's only on whole life policies.
Huh?
It's only on whole life policies.
Full life policy, yeah,
Well, they really talk about that a lot, and that's a great way to get some money out.
100%. So again, like when I talked about at the very beginning, I was like, there are hundreds of ways to find money. This is just like the 5 most popular ways that I know that I can speak to. I don't know that one. A guy just talked to me about it at lunch the other day and was like, I can borrow against my whole life stuff, so. And I guess like you pay interest, but it's all back to yourself,
Just like when you borrow from your,
like 401.
yeah.
Yeah, same type of situation if you borrow from your 401k. Again, math it out, see how much you got in there, see if it's a possibility. If it is, great, I mean, do it all day long. So I wanted to bust that myth of using cash is always the best. Using cash is not always the best. Again, like at our young age right here, like I missed out on a huge opportunity. I mean, yes, again, like it's fine, like. I'm not upset about it. I'm pissed. I'm pissed about it, right? Because I could have been, look, I could have had 9 houses. I'd have been halfway to my goal in like 4 months. And I would have been, I would have been able to make that much more money. When I flipped or when I refinanced. So again, if I'd have put just enough down to do hard money on these ones, I would have been able to refinance whenever I was done. So if it was after 3 months, I could refinance. I could have refinanced and got all this money right here. I would have got this money back and I would have profited this money. So I would have had $688,000. How many down payments on these types of houses? Like how many houses could I buy with this much? And been able to refinance again after 3 more months and hopefully net kind of the same amount. So now the 688 plus 370. Figure over $1 million, just over $1 million, 1.05. Within a year. Crazy. So anyway, if you want to move to Ohio, I got some cool houses up there to sell. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions about cash? Using it, not using it. Again, highly recommend The Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He actually owns, I think it's 8,000 houses here in Phoenix, Arizona. He talks about, on a podcast anyway, he talks about how when the interest rates dropped for an investor under 3%, he refinanced everything he could. It took 30 different banks to refinance that guy. He pulled out like some, I don't know, like $6 billion worth of refinance money that he shoved back in his pocket. The government does not tax refinance money. So he took all 800 houses or 8,000, however many he has, and he refinanced them all and did it all tax-free. He didn't pay 1 dime in taxes. And I'm over here using my freaking cash, right? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, this is it, man. We're gonna wrap it up. So let's see. Like, is there something that you learned tonight that like maybe you didn't know, or maybe thought a little bit different about, or like, is there one of these options that you would want to try? Like Neil, for you guys, Nikki, like what way would you go right now if you had to buy an investment property?
I have different answers.
Go ahead.
I personally would buy, just because it would be our first time, I would buy like a condo, something smaller, and I would probably do cash.
Okay.
But then once you had more of a cushion, you know what I mean, then I would risk maybe a little bit more.
What is it about a condo?
Just to start out small, I guess maybe the risk would be.
Small meaning like smaller in price?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Smaller and- But it was, yeah.
The HOA fees on a condo though are a lot more expensive, so you might as well just buy.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
you're,
not a condo, I guess maybe just like a smaller loan amount,
yeah,
smaller type price.
Okay. What about you, Jim?
I have a big problem.
Oh, Jesus.
you do.
You would learn on luxury, dude. I like that. That was like our first class, the first bullet point. We're back to there. The first bullet point was don't learn on luxury, Neil. No, dude, we're not taking down $1 million property.
The D.
DSCR, yeah, okay, yeah, that was,
Quantity.
that was nice, and I have some contacts, so when Nikki sends out like a review tomorrow, I'll have her put some contacts and stuff in there, some hard money contacts.
Quantity, I didn't mean.
DSCR, oh, okay, quantity, okay. Yeah. So what do you guys know, what are you doing that you should not be doing today? Or what are you not doing that you should be doing?
For me, it'd be just changing my mindset,
That's
because I'm old school,
right.
and it just that all just scares the hell out of me.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my God.
That's how I feel too, like incurring the debt, that part of it is so against all of it.
100%.
Well, just, yeah.
I think we were all raised in that room, like, are all raised like that in this room, right? Did anybody's parents own their own business
For a short time.
for a short time? So everybody was like, man, go put in your 40 hours, go put in your 40 years, retire with your little nest egg.
Stick with one job your entire
You'll have
career.
insurance. You'll have insurance. Okay, so in this, if you guys remember this example with all my 10 houses, I'm gonna hurry up, but I wanna crush some of these myths because I want to change you guys' mindset about investing. So in my last example where I had all these 9 houses, I was worth, what do we figure, just over $1 million? Let's call it $1 million. I had $1 million plus I owned 9 houses. Okay, so that's what my bank account says, plus this, and it all was in 6 months, or let's call it a year. Okay, call it a year.
Now, would this be in its own, would you develop it your own LLC for your investment
Yeah,
side of what you do?
yeah. So get LLCs for stuff, but I want to prove something here. I want to help you change your mindset. Who here has a W-2 job right now? Do you? Okay.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay, so I had one for 11 or 12 years. I'll open up about my financial situation. So I made about $110,000 a year. I had a truck, I had gas, I had insurance, I had benefits, all the bullshit that your parents told you to get, right? In 10 years, when I quit, I was totally 100% vested in my 401k in my company. I walked away with this number right here. And they matched me. So I was putting in 5% of my own money. They matched 100% on the first 3 and 50% on the next 2. So I was like being matched too. And I made 110 grand a year. And never pulled out, never borrowed it, never used it. I left after 10 years with $137,000. Did I not just show you in 1 year? That right there.
Did you acquire the 9 houses in 1 year? Or
No,
that's just
I
what
could've.
you're at?
I could have,
Okay.
right? Like,
It-
had I
it
not
dissolves.
paid cash for the first 3, my buddy came back with 6 more that I could have taken out. I
Okay.
would have, I'd have taken all 9 of them down.
Yeah.
100%. In 1 year, I'd have been worth this right here. Like, this would have been cash in my pocket. I would have still owned these houses with a mortgage, but like $300 passive income. So I'm making $2,700 more a month. And I did all that in 1 year. I worked 10 years, saved up $137,000.
Right.
Okay, so you wanna talk about like, insurance? I have insurance right now, costs me and the boys, Heather has MS, so she's like on her own, but like. She's on the Obama shit or whatever, but if you guys were healthy, like our plan is $300 a month. Now I have a little higher deductible and I have to pay each.
Your insurance.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'll get you my insurance person. Me and the 3 boys pay like $300 a month. You know what I pay? Oh, this is private. This is up here after I'm a realtor. My insurance, so my company was like, oh yeah, I matched it. I paid $160 a check. So I paid $320 and they matched it. So it's cheaper for me to be on private insurance than it was to go through my own company. Benefits? Okay, yeah, I got the 401k. Hey, thanks, guys. Just enough to be broke as hell when I'm 70 years old. Now, yeah, this would start to really like, it really takes off, right? So, okay, I was on track to like retire with 1.5 million. Okay, what happens if you duplicated this every year for 5 years? $5 million, 45 houses, 5 years. This time's freaking 5 or 10 or whatever, well, times 5, 45, this time's freaking 45 houses a month. Your net worth would be $5 million, you would be passive income 2,700 times 45 a month.
No, it's 3.
Oh, sorry, times 300, yeah, you're right, sorry. Okay, we'll do that,
But still.
was that $12,000? I made this, but I still had to pay taxes on it. Bro, so like I brought home like 65K every year, a year,
40 hours a week.
40 hours a week doing shit I don't wanna do. Yeah. I'm not saying run in there and quit tomorrow, but what I'm saying is like, you should seriously.
Janet,
You should, I'm serious, like you should really, really take a look at this. And now this is like high level, this is like really good terms, but I like Scouts Honor, like this, it's doable. It's doable. You might not get the best rips, you might not get 70,000 every one, but like I guarantee I'm within like 15% right here.
when did you when did you do your first one?
How many years ago? Like 2009.
You've been doing this.
2008. And like, before I was 30, we owned, and I'm not bragging, but before I was 30, we owned like 15 houses here in the Phoenix area. We sold some of them. And this is what's cool about real estate. Like, we had 13 houses, we sold off like half of them and built a really cool house where we live right now. And like my mortgage on the house that I have right now is cheaper than Jana's.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
What's gonna come up?
but my house is way bigger, way better. I mean, hers is newer, but like, I did that's for my house,
Pimple.
Yeah.
right? But it's like,
In a casino.
but it's because like real estate, I got to do that.
Yeah.
And like, I put like, I couldn't remember. We bought the first house in Tempe for like $130,000, put 10% down, so we put 13,000 down, probably put 30 into it. I'm all in at 43 grand. I refinanced, I got all my money back, because now that house that I bought for 130, I put 40 into it, I'm at 170, it was now valued at 300. I refinanced, got all that cash back out. I stuck college kids in there because walking
It's
is
like
an
walking
issue.
issue.
I make $1,000 net every month. And I bought the house for free. I got all my money back.
How many repairs you gotta do every month?
That's what I was wondering.
I haven't been there in a year. Josh been there. Josh been there like a month ago, because I went to oil or something. Okay, so I paid Josh $150 to go look at a toilet. Yeah, I haven't paid it yet. Yeah, I'll get you, man, I'll get you. But yeah, so like when you fix them up to where you never have to come back again. Like people say, oh, go cheap, it's just a rental. No, opposite, dude, you go super good. You put the best shit in, not the highest dollar stuff, the best quality stuff. You don't want to come back for plumbing, you don't want to come back for drywall or AC or whatever. No, you fix it up and you fix it up really good. Huh?
Can you
Tell the
get
builders
the builders in here and tell them that?
right. You don't want to go. I haven't been in a house in Tempe in 5 years. Knock on wood, that one happen tomorrow, but I'll go to one. Yeah. But anyway, like, but it's through real estate. And then like, once you, and what's cool about it, when you get your mindset right, is like, after you bought like 5 of these, you start looking at like multifamily. Like you bought one house, you can buy 3. You bought 3, you can buy 10. You bought 10, buy a resort. If you bought one resort, buy another resort.
Heather's goal is what, 5 resorts?
Yeah, if you bought 5 resorts, or 2 resorts, why can't you buy 10? Why can't you buy a hotel? Why can't, I mean, somebody's out there gonna do it. The Hiltons are doing it. Why can't you do it? Is there something special about you or the Hiltons that you don't have? Besides money, but you can get that. So anyway, like, don't let the retirement, all that stuff kind of like slow you down. Use it to get some of your first investments, but if you're smart with the first investments, but you take those good educated risks, you can eventually like quit your job and live off of this crap.
I'm so glad you invested well, so when I am really old and you're taking care of me.
Well, it's like we talk about all the time,
That's
like,
what I do.
yeah, you can do this to where you can,
Your money back.
to where you can take care of people, like. If you had money like this in 1 year, again, after 5 years, like what could you do after 5 years? Where would you guys be in 5 years? I'd be 43 years old. Sitting on that, that'd be cool. You wouldn't see me teaching this bullshit no more. Right?
Probably would know it's.
I'm definitely not you.
You need me to fix your house.
I got
Generally, you won't make calls.
But anyway,
You gotta see Arvin, that'd be a good way to go, like, you want to do duplexes and apartments.
yeah. 100%, like, so your interest rate is just a little bit higher, but it definitely is a way to get in, because you're gonna have good, you should have good rents. Again, you have to buy it right, you have to buy it deep. Meaning like, if the guy wants $200,000 for it, but it's really worth 150, don't pay 200 for it. Just because it's cheap, don't buy it, right? Get them down to 150 where it's at. Now, you look at what your mortgage is plus what you can rent it for. That's where a DSCR comes into play. Because you're gonna have a big passive income every month, so you'll qualify for that DSCR loan.
Now, with that being said, is it better to go something like a duplex or a fourplex or an apartment versus starting with a house?
So if you're gonna start, I would start small, especially on your first ones. I'm okay if you guys start with like a duplex. Under that $400,000 mark. Yeah, I would say like, look at it and do it, because the duplex is small enough. That it's like one single family house. To start off on like a fourplex or like an apartment building or something, no. No, hard no. I would talk you out of that all day long. A duplex, yeah. Yeah. Now, if you find one, if you found an apartment or something you want to take down, give me a call. We'll partner up on it, because then I can make those. I can make those decisions for us.
We're gonna learn on luxury back here.
Right? Yeah. Well, we could partner up on luxury. Yeah. But no, you want to keep like your first ones, you want to keep it as safe as possible. So like, don't be weird, don't be big. Like stay in your buy box, stay in your lane, know what you want, and don't compromise that at all. You start compromising, you are gonna find yourself in some shit.
So if you're gonna do an actual flip, the amount of days it takes to do your repairs is like critical, right?
Mhm.
Because the faster you can get it done, then faster you can flip it.
Mhm.
So is there like a standard set days per house that you kind of in your mindset, you don't want to go over?
I mean,
It just depends on the amount of work.
it depends on the amount of work and how fast like your trades and stuff can get in there. Obviously, short amount of time as possible, but like you don't want to cut corners and you don't want to piss people off to get there. It's costing you $100 a day, like what's $100 if you piss somebody off? We went through that last time. If you start pissing off your trades guys, like trades guys are super hard to find right now. Don't want to piss those guys off. So it's worth it to have the house another couple days or a couple weeks to keep everybody happy.
So to keep the timeline down, do you like suggest getting multiple trades or trying to just do it all yourself?
So if you're hard moneying it and you have a full-time job, I would say you get the trades to do it. If like you, like Neil's, like in Neil's case, I don't want to jump in like his personal life because I don't know what they got going on, but I could easily see Neil doing like 80% of it himself because he's better than most of the guys and he can do it because that's what he does all day, right? So if I was in Neil's case, I would look at that, man, I'll probably take a lot of that down myself. Yeah, and like he's investing. So when he paints it, his labor cost for the day is a lot cheaper than what he would pay a painter guy to do. And he can do it. Do it. But if you're gonna do it nights and weekends, which we've done plenty of times, like that shit starts to add up. Like you save money, but then it just goes out on the back end.
Where's you at?
Yeah. Where is you at? Like multiple times, the one in Tempe, like Cooper was 3 months old. And like I remember he was covered.
It worked on every house.
Yeah, he was covered in like sheetrock dust. And Yeah, but that's what you did. Like, that's what you did to get it done. So. I would do whatever I had to do. Lie, cheat, steal, murder, whatever, like to get as many houses that I could as fast as I could. No, hold on. Any other questions?
Is the back door unlocked? Cause I'm gonna go get that opener and bring it back in. Are you sure?
Yeah, this one right here is on.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So when are you guys gonna take your first flip down?
When I can refinance my house to be better.
Talking about private money. You missed a couple classes if you want. Did you register on the link at all? Did Brett send you an email?
No,
Did you get, okay,
anything like that.
okay, check it out.
I didn't know this was a multi-week thing, so.
Yeah, no, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Next week, just a week after. Nothing next week?
No. Yeah, we're gonna skip next week because it's Thanksgiving, and we'll probably have one more class after that. You got my email, you know that, and I'll make sure you get all the good stuff. Get my email? Got my email. Yours? I didn't register.
We just told Heather we're coming. We
Oh,
never.
Heather just called.
Oh, so have you guys haven't been getting my, like the reviews and stuff? Okay, on that same paper, right, your email and all that now.
Yeah.
I might have it, but just write it down there.
Cause Heather just texted.
Oh, sorry, okay, cool. So we'll probably do like one more class. And the last class, I just want to do like a review to where like, if you have any questions and I can have all the slides up, we can do like a high level review on all the classes and answer any questions that you have.
Did you, I obviously was not at all of them either.
Mhm.
Did you go through like example houses and determine which one would be the best option to buy? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I showed like I showed an example of like the spreadsheet that I had on one, but I'm thinking, I'm running through some ideas and I think like. We might do like a mock
yeah,
review to where it's like,
is this a good option or not?
yeah, I'll pick a house and then I'll bring some comps. I'll fill out like the spreadsheet and stuff and we'll kind of determine
I
like
think that.
kind of step by step through the process. Okay, now I would call this guy to get my DSCR loan. Okay, now I would call this guy to get this going, you know? Because at the end of this, like my goal was, and I hope, we haven't had a ton of people, but you guys got some really good quality stuff that if somebody makes an investment in the next 6 months, like I would probably tear up and cry. I would be so excited if you weren't on track to do that in the next 6 months, like you took one down, I'd be super excited. At the end of this was totally free. I didn't want to charge for anything, but like if you guys want like a consulting type thing, like get with me after class and we can talk about like, hey, maybe Nikki and Neil don't feel comfortable taking the first one down like by themselves. For like a percentage of stuff, I'll partner up with you and kind of like hold your hand through the process. I don't want to do it for free. I'm sorry, like there's only so much that I can do for free. But I have a lot of shit to do every day and like, but for a small amount, I would like partner with somebody. Mhm. And if you want to flip it, let's flip it and split it. If you want to hold it. I mean, I'm good for like 20%. I'll hold it as long as you want. I don't care. But like, I'll walk you through the process. And if you say like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, I'd probably go that way. But at least like, you'll have a better understanding or maybe be a little more confident in pulling the trigger on something. And then after you do like 2 or 3, I'm telling you, like after you do a couple, every house is different, but after you do a couple, you get the hang of it, you get the confidence in it.
I think it's just the unknown too of like what to do or how to start or.
Right. But that, like, I'm hoping like the class kind of helped out, but then again, like if you want to have like you want to go to lunch or something, I would go to lunch individually and we could work out a plan.
No hot dogs.
Are you buying?
No, he loves those nasty hot dogs.
Okay, I'll go lunch anyway. There's not a salad. I'm not a salad guy. Yeah. Not a salad guy.
Good chocolate hot dog, we put it in a salad.
Right. It's like trainer would be so excited.
Hey, should be sorry that cookie you're eating during the first
Oh,
half
she
of the training.
knows.
It's all about balance.
Do you guys, Josh, Russ, you guys have any questions on this? Comments?
Nope, I'm good.
Thanks for coming, Josh.
I threw a question in the chat.
Oh, okay, here we go, there it is. I normally have somebody that like helps me out here, but. What do you think about the companies like renttoretire.com and out of state investing? Good idea, bad idea? Great question, Russ. I don't know. Click on, let's go. I'm just kidding. So I don't know, like rent to retire. I would imagine it's like the kind of lease to own type thing, kind of like a seller carryback. Like personally, I would look at, again, the cost and the terms of it. Like if they give you the cost, but you get to pick the terms, or if they have the cost and the terms and it makes sense for you, I would pull the trigger on it, yes. Doing out of state investing, maybe that's the next class I'll do. And then we'll end with like a summary. Okay, too much, okay. Out of state investing, Russ, 1000%, bud. Are you from Arizona, Russ?
Yeah, I'm from here. I actually own 2 properties out of state already, but I'm trying to find something here, but it's just there's just so much cheaper out of state.
100%. So yes, I would go out of state. I do go out of state. I'm going to Wichita, Kansas next, and I'm going to like the Raleigh-Durham area in North Carolina next. The reason that I picked those, Russ, and it's very, very important. I would go, from what I learned in Ohio, I didn't have good people. I didn't have a good agent. I didn't have a good contractor, and I got screwed, right? Cost me a lot of money. I would go wherever you know people. So like how I did is why I'm going to Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a brother and a sister-in-law who want to get into real estate. What better way than to have me teach them how to get into real estate? So they're getting a real estate license right now. I'm selling these houses in Ohio, and I will be buying houses in Raleigh, North Carolina in less than 45 days. I'll have my first house. So go where people are. Everything but California, Arizona, Texas, and Florida are going to be cheaper than here. Okay. So you have like 43 other states to pick from. There's people in Oklahoma that are doing it, Nebraska, there's Indiana, Ohio, if you want to go there. I wouldn't. North Carolina. I mean, there's almost any other state is going to be better than Arizona.
What if you want to do out of state investing but you don't have a good contact? How do you find the best people to do the repairs?
So Keller Williams is like worldwide, but they're really focused nationwide. I have the ability to like call. So if you wanted to go, name a place. Indiana, I named it for you. You want to go to Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay. I can jump on like our website and I can find like some of the top killer agents out there in Indiana. And I can interview them for you. And I can tell them exactly what you're trying to do. And I can set you up with the best agent that I know out there. Then from there, you're probably going to ask that agent, hey, what contacts do you have? Do you know any contractors? Do you know any handyman? Do you know any painters? Do you know any of these people?
Yeah.
Then you're going to coordinate with that guy. Hey, I'm going to fly up there this week on Tuesday. Can you coordinate me to meet 1 or 2 contractors up there? So you're going to meet your agent. You're going to interview him. You got questions for him. Hey, have you done this before? Have you ever messed with investors before? Blah, blah, blah. If he's good, hey, I'm going to be up there. Line up your guys. Okay. Meet a contractor. Look at what he's got. With today's technology, what's cool about it is even your contractor has FaceTime. Before you write him a check, hey man, do a FaceTime, go around the house and you write, hey, did you get the vanities done in the bathroom? Yep. See that? See that vanity? Yep. Oh, looks good. Cool. Oh, did you get the kitchen cabinets in? Hold on, let me go to the kitchen. See him? See him? Yep. They're all in. They're all look good. Yep. Cool. Okay. I'll send you a check. I'll Venmo you. It's all about the people. 1000%. It's all about the people. If you don't have good people, Ohio is going to fail. Go where the people are. Go where you know people. If it's a mom, if it's a brother, it's a sister, even if they're not realtors, somebody can go check on the house for you. Somebody can like drop a letter off. Somebody that can go do this or do that. There's a lot of one-off.
Trades are showing up too.
Well, again, like with the technology today, like, hey, send me a FaceTime video. I don't like pictures because they could like send pictures of like another house and send it to you. It's like, no, I want to do FaceTime. Because you know FaceTime has to be live. You can't record it. So you can do FaceTime, you can do videos and pictures if you want, but just go where the people are, have multiple agents. You need at least 3 agents and you need at least 3 contractors because 2 of these agents are going to peter out, so are the contractors. Okay. But I'll do a class on out of state investing. Great idea, Russ. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but next class, I think I'll do like an out-of-state investing bit. Cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bet. Russ, did you register online? So I have your email and stuff?
I think so.
Yeah, he got the link, so.
Russ did? Oh, yeah, because he got them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, either me or my wife had it. So
okay, cool. Russ, what's your last name?
Lee.
Russ Lee? There you go. My middle name's Lee.
With everyone is his choice. Yeah.
Okay.
Heather's his middle name's Lee too.
We're all Lee. All right, so you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. So not next Wednesday, but the following, was that the 29th? Nikki, you have your
30th, I think.
30th?
I'm already at dinner, sorry.
Nice, I'm hungry. Okay, I went a little bit longer, but not next Wednesday, the following Wednesday, right after Thanksgiving, we'll be back here. Nikki will send out reviews tomorrow to your emails, and then we'll send out some more reminders. If you have friends or family that want to take part in this, love to have them. But thank you guys for the support. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
30th?
Yeah, so there we go.
Thank you.
Cool. Yes. Okay. Cool, man.
How much you needed?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Thanks for coming. I really-
Well, I didn't know it was a multi-week thing.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I'm talking to Jared, he really said it was a multi-week thing.
Oh. I hope it was beneficial, man. I hope you got some out of it. Where you live at, Brian?
Oh, good great.
Oh, okay. What do you do for a living?
I'm a claims adjuster.
There you go. For auto or what?
Hold on, just-
Oh, homeowners?
You have something on the side of your shoe.
Are you responsible for finding a contract?
You know what it is? What? Hey,
I just-
no, my little grandson
You're-
got into the, you know, that little thing that's the correction tape.
Yeah.
You know, he got into that and he had it. Cutter. He had it everywhere and it all came off the plastic, so it was like everywhere. All over him.
Let's get it, man. Let's go.
I have no idea what that is.
The first thing to brownies.
No one's like you.
It was pretty expensive. First thing I noticed.
Hard to learn.
Right? You don't like to say it. Well, I'm not sure.
Going here today.
Right. But if you would say, now I gotta charge.
Next time. That's it at home, Bill.
My buddy does it, so maybe so.
Indiana? Investing or what?
But
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know, we have some friends that have one. I'm kind of interested in Indiana. I was talking to them, like, they bought a house. 100 grand, put 20 in it. That's worth like 250, but they're making like $900 a week. That shit out. Like the rental rates are high up there. Well, I hear the freaking.
My little cutter, he was all in, he was just like. swinging his hand, what he was talking about. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, all.
I'm telling you, it's.
And that's why I am,
I mean, you can even set up an agreement with them. They know exactly like what he's getting. I went to Ohio, I didn't boxes. You know, found an agent through Keller.
And, so.
Ended up having a big contact there on the house, but he was like, $8,000 there. It's fine, man, I love it. Good job.
Yeah, so, and when this one got when it's up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, for tomorrow you get like a breakout, then you send like all the classes to you. This is the third one. Yeah, so there were two. But they're on you, like we got them on YouTube and stuff, so she'll send me a link to where you can watch like the recordings of it. And then she'll have the slideshow on. Yeah, leave her some slides. I'm thinking like, oh, I think like February first.
Yeah. It's you kind of right on Wisconsin, you go towards the olive mill. And then on the left-hand side,
So you're in the
we'll
center.
put the olive- we're trying to buy it. Yeah. 'Cause there's a really good small business, so that's the middle gate.
Call it Empire Builders. Put on like a class, everybody probably just be one class for like 3 hours. If you go and turn down there, like help our small businesses. Like,
Oh, okay.
the one that had
They're
the
not-
first change of mindset. Yeah. No, come on. Cause like every time you learn, ancillary business, there's a lot of people.
Well, she-
She's right there to the left. Yeah, she's the older, she could be but she was more like the first person there. I'm not 65. She is getting the most out of it.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I've been to like one of those menace cons, he's all into that. Yes, see his truck. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the first.
Lot of I was at all. I seen her doing all that, and then also taking all the materials and all that. I remember the one in the. Cooper, he probably maybe, he was all dressed up.
He was doing good.
He was all dressed up, he had this little king tag on.
He was good.
And he would like show everybody the different things and. Yeah, they were pretty.
Yes, they no longer.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. See you guys next time. Matt still.
They're not good.
They're not good.
Get rid of the bottom.
Right. So I would go, yeah, I can either next week, park in the back or, yeah, park great. I'll take you out the way to park.
Yeah.
You gonna come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, see you later. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you guys. What's up, dog?
Just another day, bro. Hey, I need you to, Zenmo or Zelle, whatever that Anthony pressure washer and that sheet rock. You didn't pay him yet? No wonder you didn't fucking call me. He was supposed to meet me at that house for Mike or Matt.
What's your sheet guy's name?
It's Luis Velasco, Luis. He fucking text corrected me yesterday because I said,
Luis Rodriguez?
no. Here, Luis Velasco, 2932.
Well.
VLAZ.
Oh, damn it.
No, he's new, he's really good too.
Do you have his number?
Yeah.
Or Luis? Phone number?
2932.
Oh, no, I need the whole, what's his whole name?
Oh,
Sorry.
uh, 480.
Okay.
213. Okay, 2932. You just send him 350. Okay. Are you doing it now?
I'm going to, yeah, just go in there.
Sorry for the late payment, bro. I'm sending it right now.
So what was it for? She run for who?
350.
Oh, 350.
Yeah,
What house?
Kelsey. That's the one that Paul Stratton,
Kelsey Sheetrock.
yeah. Is it gonna come under your name, like it'll say Sam, or will it say 4L Builders?
I don't, it'll either say 4 builders or me, I don't know.
It will either come under 4L Builders or Sam Openshaw. You have him, his name is Anthony Jones.
Jones.
Yeah. That's $80.
What's it for?
Pressure washing. For Mike Midler or whatever his last name is.
Oh, Widmer?
Yeah.
$80, Anthony. There you go.
Sent it.
Yep.
Okay. Just paid you, buddy.
Are you going to Apollo?
Am I going? Yeah, we're pouring concrete there tomorrow.
Oh, the curbs?
Yeah.
There's the thing and then there's a mailbox key. You can put it with that door key.
Yeah. How did she get it?
That's the girl
That what?
that I fucking bought the house off of. Went around and ran it right back to her, paid $300 more a month.
That Palo?
That was her house.
And you're gonna rent it to her right now?
No, she was.
Oh,
I bought the house from her like 3 years ago. When COVID started, she thought the world was gonna end. She was like, I gotta get out of this house. So she climbed in and fucking, you gotta steal. It's like 1,200, 1,300, we bought it, our payment was 1,300 or 1,400. I turned around and ran it to her for like 1,700 or 1,800 bucks. She's paying me $400 more. Than what her mortgage was.
well, her fucking house is disgusting.
Well, Heather said that they bought it like that. Like it was already fucked up.
No, I mean, just the. Yeah. So, well, Chad, oh, we need to pay Chad $500 too.
Oh, is he done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking forgot to do that fucker too.
Yeah, he said he called you and I was like, I'm like, dude, you gotta quit bugging Sammy.
He's a high baby girl.
Yeah. So I took some pictures, dude, because I need to know where you want. So at Palo, dude, it's already got that shit, dude. I figured I just pull that out, square it up and fucking recurve it.
Yeah. Maybe move it, go back.
That's right off the pad, that's right off the patio.
Oh, yeah. You got those.
Yeah, we'll have to cut some of that tree out.
Well, it's just whatever, remember, just whatever size that shit is from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Make it like 3 inches shorter.
I just figured I'd lay it and tell them to curve around it.
That'll work too. Go by and lay it down, say right there, boys, and then they'll do it, then pull it out, and we need to put the
Yeah,
ABC shit.
But do you realize that, that fucking Harmony, dude, the backyard has that big concrete slab off to the side?
Yeah,
Where are you gonna put your fucking curb and your turf?
left, like kind of off center on the left. So where the dirt is,
Right.
put it in the middle of the dirt.
Oh, you don't want it like right off the pad they poured? Center it in the yard?
Kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Center it in the yard? Okay.
Yeah. Center it in the, like the dirt, you know how the dirt's kind of off center?
Yeah,
And put it center-ish over there if you can.
okay, they're gonna do that one Monday.
Okay.
So, tomorrow I'll either write them a check or I'll have you fucking Venmo or Zelle.
They might be able to take, well,
They might take a card, I don't know.
well, sometimes what they do is they invoice me the next day because they don't know exactly how many feet.
They
So
do.
Yeah, but when they get there, they like remeasure it and do all that bullshit.
Well, yeah, well, I told them, but yeah, yeah, whatever. Whatever they want. I really don't give a shit. So. Dude, Mike's fucking bid, that's gonna be. Pretty crazy.
Mike,
Yeah, Mike Chick, that house on Astor,
oh, Matt Chick,
Matt, sorry.
bro, I'm even,
I don't know if we can, I can't find fucking workers, bro.
and I think you just tell them sooner than later, I'm fine if we don't take it, dude, to be honest with you. I'm like, fuck, man, that's a lot, like.
I'm
It's all
gonna,
like permanent, if it was a big job, it was like Kelsey, where it was just like fucking throw up some walls and some sheetrock, but this motherfucker like, let's add on a garage and let's get this permanent.
yeah, but I got the garage and the framer guy that'll take care of that. Like, so the garage price at 78 was finished, completed, move-in ready.
Look, guys, I got.
Yeah, man, that's all it is.
Okay, this is my brother Josh, Josh is Gabe.
We've met. Hey, nice
Oh, yeah?
right there. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
hey.
We're gonna see you again. Yeah.
You guys gonna get home?
Oh, that's fine.
Selfies in there. Nice. Seen it?
How's it going, Josh?
It's going, how's Heather?
Good. Huh? There's
Oh.
cookies. Did you check all the doors?
I checked these doors out here, not side door.
Do you want me to take the voice
Oh,
my car?
Not the oldest, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, they have, both of them have the armor now.
Yeah.
So regular, right?
Yeah.
And then, in the one bathroom, we need to do a fiberglass patch or something. There's a crack in that tub, a circle crack.
Down the bottom.
Yeah. Like right at the bottom, and I only noticed it when I was walking, I did one last walk after Chad said he was done.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in no worse of a place. So it's right there. And it's right up the bottom. Yeah. Yeah.